Here we are. It's Lauren Duletsky.
And I am Jackie G. Let's get into it.
And this is the Click Clack Show where we talk about all things women's sports and women's lives. So let's just get
Yes.
right into it, Jack. We just want to acknowledge what is happening in America, in this country that we call home. What I believe to be a government-run militia, ICE, has been for months destroying people's lives around this country. And we have now become witness to even more horror that has led to people's death. Seeing anybody die on video is absolutely horrifying and is unacceptable. This goes so far beyond what is political. This is about morality. And we want to just take a moment to recognize the lives that have been lost in Minnesota, the families that have been torn apart in this country, and our hearts are just very heavy. It's sometimes hard to talk about sports when things like this are going on, but I do think that sport can be a place that can empower and that can unite us.
We had a moment over the weekend where we questioned posting on our channels because of everything that was going on. And I think my gut reaction and just instinct was, yes, there's a lot of shitty things going on in the world right now, but sports is something that is very positive right now. So I still think that speaking positivity into the world is super important amongst all the craziness, because I know there was a moment this weekend where Carla and I were definitely in our feelings, and like our whole day was kind of just rattled by the situation. And particularly for Carla and me, because Carla is Hispanic and she comes from parents and her mom coming over illegally to the US, because they had to flee a war where they were. So she's, obviously a legal immigrant now, but just like there's just so many things that hit home for her and for us and honestly the entire world. So we were just going down rabbit holes all day, and it was just a really, really intense feeling. So absolutely want to take a moment to recognize, all the shitty things that are going on, and hearts and prayers out to everybody that is being affected by this. But in the meantime, we are going to move forward with our content and, shed light on all the positive things going around in the world and continue to talk about women's sports because it's so important and that's what we love so much.
I think, to your point, women especially have for so many decades, even centuries, stood up and fought against injustice. And I mean, even Brianna Stewart, ahead of Unrivaled, came out with a sign that said abolish ICE. And I think that, while our channel can be a space for so much positivity and encouragement and inclusion, I think also seeing the leadership that comes from these women with platforms and people with platforms to speak up, to do something about it, to talk about it, it makes me proud to moments like that. I thought about this phrase a lot this weekend: land of the free, home of the brave. And hearing stories of families that are too afraid to leave their homes because they're afraid they'll be taken doesn't feel free, like a free democracy to me. And so I just wanted to say that because I think we all need to remember where we are, but also continue to be brave in the face of adversity. And so many athletes, we talk about this all the time, being brave in the face of adversity. Like, there are so many stories of people doing that right now, and that's what's keeping my spirits high, at least to the degree that they can be. So yes, let's keep talking about women's sports. Let's keep adding and bringing light and positivity into the world. And we just want to say how much we love you all.
Yep, well said.
Let's talk about people leading. Recently, a list came out from The Athletic where they interviewed, I think, over 100 athletes, right?
Mm-hmm.
About who are the people in sports that really provide those leadership attributes that you look up to. They released the list, and Dawn Staley was number 2, which
Not surprising.
not surprising. There were also a lot of women on that list, which I was really pleased to see, because I think oftentimes in sports, especially coming from like big surveys, we don't always see women in these lists, or to the extent that we should. So to see someone like Dawn who has been so prolific in college sports, but not just college. Like she is a prolific leader and seen as a leader. How did that make you feel as a former athlete seeing that list?
The list was incredible. I can't remember every single person on the list, but I know when I think about this question and who are the people that I admire most on, that are still active, currently playing, currently coaching, currently in this era of sports right now. Like there's so many names that come to mind for me. Don Staley is one of them. Gino Ariema is another one. Um, Yolette, Coach Yo from Ole Miss is another one. Kenny Brooks from Kentucky is another one. There's so many basketball, like, coach leaders that I really admire and love the way that they're presenting themselves, and showing up for their players in the public light. And then from, like, the player side, I can't help but think of Asia Wilson. And for me, she's just such a leader and someone that I admire so much because I think the way she carries herself, the way that she protects her team, the way that she shows up for her team, the way that she's always giving flowers and kudos to everyone around her and not just taking all of the spotlight because as a superstar, she easily could because she has carried the Vegas Aces for so many years, but she has always, always done such a great job, commending, her teammates and her coaching staff and front office and everyone around her. To me, that is a true leader and someone who I would want my daughter to, grow up watching.
I love that, Jack. And I love that you brought it back to future generations because these athletes, these women in the leagues, in leadership roles, whether they're coaches, players, or executives, they are influencing the next generation of players, executives, coaches.
Mhm.
And we want to see even more girls in these positions,
Yeah.
right? With more
Yep.
access, more depth, more opportunity in sports. There are three areas that I think are worth talking about. One is culture building. You mentioned it, but the culture around these women and people just want to be part of it. And I think that is the sign of a great leader.
I think
Advocacy.
just to before you move on to
Yeah,
that, I'd like to say on that one, like, I think that is so important and so prevalent when you're speaking about coaches as leaders, because if you're fostering an environment that feels safe and where your players can trust you, that is literally half the battle, if not more. If you have players that trust you and trust the process and trust their careers in your hands, like, you have won as a coach.
I love that. I think the second one is advocacy. These women are using their platforms to make the world better. From the early days in the WNBA, not early days, but 4 or 5 years ago, really standing up and elevating Black Lives Matter to today, where Stewie's standing up before a game with an abolish ICE sign. I mean, they're using their platforms to lead beyond the court, and that is so clear.
Yeah, and when I think about advocacy, I typically tend to think about Natasha Cloud. I think that she has always spoken up for what she believes in, and she's always, even if it's an unpopular opinion, I think that she has always done a really good job using her platform and advocating for the things that she believes in.
Yeah, and you brought up, I think, such an important point, which is authentic advocacy and, really showing up and not just resharing a social post, but putting their money where their mouth is, saying how they really feel,
Mhm.
doing it during uncomfortable moments. I think those are all really big signs of leadership and how they carry themselves. And the third is, I think you touched on this, but the consistency of how they show up, right? Like coaches consistently showing up for their players, like when we saw Becky Hammon show up at Unrivaled at the tip off and just support her players. I mean, the consistency of how you show up is not just important, again, on the court, it's also important in life, the relationships that you hold. And so all of these women and people on that list really embodied, I think, those three attributes
Yeah, I
pretty
agree.
consistently.
Absolutely. I think in terms of consistency, I think that that is such a huge quality that a leader has to possess. And, I think about times where I've had coaches that haven't come in, at halftime because they were so upset about the game and our performance. And like that to me is inconsistent. Right. And like if you're always having a coach or a leader that's constantly showing up for you, even on the days and the times when it's super hard and super rough, like that is so big, and then obviously from the player perspective, consistency is everything. you're not taking days off. It's every single day.
Even when you're in, let's make the parallel to real life. When you're out of sports and you go into an industry, how your boss shows up for you, feeling that comfort, being able to be honest and open about how you're feeling, being able to take hard feedback from them, but also giving hard feedback when you need to. It's those mutually beneficial relationships that build trust. That's where we often talk about the parallels between sports and life,
Mhm.
and why we felt like this conversation was so important to Click Clack's mission is sports leadership can translate so much further beyond the court. And I genuinely believe the more people who have an athlete mindset, whether you played competitively in high school or played sports and just loved to compete and win, to college to pro, these people can truly go out and lead in not just sports, but in so many other industries. And that's something we really believe in here.
Yeah. I mean, leadership outside of sports, obviously, it's the same exact thing. And oftentimes, you have leaders that I've seen that really possess a lot of the same qualities that like the athletes that I think about or the coaches that I think about. And I'm like, wow, that's amazing. And then you see also such a different type of leadership too at times where you're like, oh, I wish that this leader was like harder on me or would just be more direct or, whatever it may be. But leadership is so important in every realm of life. And like, I think we all need coaching 101 on how to be good leaders and good teammates. Like, there's no perfect teammate or perfect leader. We all need that coaching and like just that constant reminder.
It also can encourage more women who are leaders, but aren't leaders necessarily in sports today to go coach. We need more women coaching at all levels, especially youth sports. So
Hmm.
I don't know. This list just prompted a lot of feelings for me beyond sports, just seeing these people. And then also for the people I wasn't familiar with on the list, just wanting to learn more about them because we can all learn from those leaders in every aspect of
Absolutely.
life.
Absolutely.
Um, so, kind of switching gears a little bit here, Jack, there's something else that happened recently that I think is a really important conversation for us to have, and I want to get your point of view on it. There was a Washington Post article that was written by a woman named Candace Buckner, and the headline was, "It's uncomfortable to talk about a woman's body, where to start with Audie Crooks." And for anybody that doesn't know who Audie Crooks is, she is one of the top scorers in the nation right now in collegiate women's basketball. She plays for Iowa State. She is incredibly fun to watch. She has had just record-breaking games. There's so much conversation around her as an elite player, and I think my immediate response to that, especially with the article being written by a woman, is why do we have to talk about her body? Like, there's so many other angles to talk about, leading with her performance, leading with her stats. And I I posted about it on our social, as you know,
Hmm.
and there has been a heated debate. Let me just spell it out, and then I want to get your perspective. The debate goes from one side as we shouldn't be talking about women's bodies and analyzing women's bodies, all the way to, well, they're athletes. Their bodies are part of the story. Men's sports, it's been the same case. People used to always talk about Shaq's body and so many other bodies. And so it's just been a really heated debate. Obviously, I wasn't a professional athlete. I survived the 2000s with the insane media of how women's bodies were spoken about. So I think there's a lot of PTSD from that.
Hmm.
But as a former athlete and someone who really like knows the science of body, has been injured, has been alongside a lot of experts in this space, what's your take on this?
For me, let me first start by saying Audie Crooks is a phenomenal player. She has done so well this season. She has proven herself time and time again. Every time she steps on the court, she dominates. I think why people are so obsessed with with her body is because it is not normal. It's not normal to see a player like her at that size to dominate the way that she has dominated. And normally when you watch basketball, aside from, big player position fives, like a lot of the players have different body types, right? I think with Audie, because she is so effective, at her body type, it kind of trips people out. Like like, this is so unique, so this is something to talk about, right? And I think, like, as an athlete, we're constantly being judged by our performance every single day. We're constantly being judged by how we look. And there's this standard that you have to look a certain type of way in order to be taken seriously or seen as elite. And I think Audie really shatters that perspective and that narrative because she's doing it in a completely different body type than what you would classify as a normal athletic professional body. She's doing it on her own in her own way, and she's fucking killing it. So for me, I understand why there's a lot of conversation around it because it's not normal. But what I do want to say to defend her is like, how about you look at the stats, look at her performance, look at what she's been doing, and then let's have a real conversation about that as well. If you're so shocked by the way she looks and how she's doing it, okay. But how about you really look into who she is as a player as well so you can get the full perspective?
As someone who's newer to watching professional sports, like really watching it with more of a critical eye and trying to learn, I think my knee jerk reaction, because of what I have experienced in listening to the media and how they talk about bodies, like even some, right after that I saw the Audie article, someone posted a throwback of Anna Nicole Smith on Howard Stern and him just basically telling her she was fat, like just straight up saying
Fucking crazy,
horrific
yeah.
things to her. And so we know so many girls drop out of sports because of body confidence. And I think it's
Sure.
so important that we challenge the status quo when it comes to what a body look should look like in sports. And I think that was my main point is why are we leading with her body and not leading at least with her stats the way you talked about it,
Yeah,
right? And I actually had a huge debate about this with one of my male friends because the men are like, "Well, if you want women's sports to be equal to men's sports, then you better be able to take the heat. Like we do this all the time in men's sports." But someone just posted on our TikTok on my video and was like, "Yeah, except we're women and we can do it differently. And if you want to advocate for Shaq's body or Jokic's body or someone else that you don't agree with a point of view, then stand up for them. Like
mhm,
we're just trying to stand up for her here and have a
right,
point of view." And so I think the main point for me out of all of this is I'm just going to come out and say it. Sports has been built on a patriarchy, like many other things in this world. And we are now in a position with more women coming into sports than ever before, expanding the capabilities and opportunities for where women show up, how we play, what we look like, what is considered normal. And we're
mhm,
challenging the status quo. And that should just be okay. We can still want a lot of money in sports and also say we want to talk about bodies different than they
right,
talk about men's bodies, right?
right.
So that was my whole point, but I just thought it brought up such an interesting debate
Yeah,
that
I see your point as well, I think, super well taken.
don't take everything at face value. Be critical, ask questions, don't always follow the status quo.
Yep,
You know what I mean?
yeah, for sure.
But we know, Jack, that the world has been really heavy lately. But what's something light that you've done lately that's made you really happy?
It's kind of funny, and it was intended to be light. So Carla and I, in New York, we went to my first Broadway play, and I had talked about this on a previous episode, but we saw Liberation, and it was the most incredible Broadway play I've ever seen. Well, the only one I've ever seen, but just like had the best experience. So now I'm like into Broadway and like I want to go see new shows. I'm like into theater because I love watching people in character, acting live and in person. I think it is the most, like, amazing thing to watch, like, how confident these people are, and, like, they're just up there in front of so many people in real life, in character, just, like, doing their thing and not caring what the audience is thinking, right? And I just find that amusing. So we went to a play at PSC or PCS. I don't know what it stands for, Portland something theater, right? It's like the main theater hall down here. And they were playing this play called The Play That Goes Wrong. So it's like everything in the play goes wrong, and it's just supposed to be this comedy play. And it started and, like, I kid you not, the audience was laughing at every single thing. Like, they could have just walked and the audience was laughing hysterically. So Carla and I were looking at each other and we're like, "We're not laughing. What's wrong with us?" Right? Like, what are we don't ha do we not have good humor? Like, what's up? It kept going on and on and on. At one point, I looked at Carla, I was like, "Did they pay people to laugh in the audience? Because they're laughing at everything, like, I don't understand what's going on, like, this isn't funny," right? We left at intermission because we just, like, did not like the play, like, it just was not for us, and, like, we were really questioning ourselves, like, "What is wrong with us?" You know? And, like, I know it's, like, silly, but it's, like, it was something light that happened because this was also the same day that, like, we were so heavy and, like, with all this stuff in the world going on, and then we, like, went to this play, and we just, like, laughed hysterically when we left because we were like, "What the hell did we just sit through?" Like, I'm like, I need to find another play in Portland that's gonna, like, make up for that because that was not it.
I'm really proud of you guys, though, for expanding your repertoire into
We're
theater
trying.
because literally that is the experience. It's like you can go into it being like, "Oh, this is how it's gonna be," and then it comes out completely different, or it
Totally.
totally surprises you and you're like, "Wow, theater is one of the most magical art forms." I am such a theater girl.
Oh my
I
god,
loved
yes.
being I mean, you can probably imagine that I'm, like, such a theater girl,
Absolutely.
and I feel like, you know what? What you just said is such a great reminder to people in your local communities, go invest in your local theater.
Yeah.
It is such a great escape. It's a great way to have real community and conversation, be surprised or not be surprised, right? Like, that's
The
such a
theater
great
was so
reminder.
nice too, like, just shout out to this theater, like, it was incredible, it was spacious, it was bright, it was comfortable, like, they had a snack bar, they had food.
I love that. I mean, it's so easy now just to binge watch whatever on our streaming networks, and we
Yeah,
cannot forget the arts. We can't. And I love that that part of you was so inspired by going to Broadway, you
for
know?
sure,
And now
for
you've, like,
sure.
found this new passion, which is
Yeah.
so
Oh,
wonderful.
can I just say one more thing really quick?
Mhm.
I went to go watch Landman on Sunday and realized that the final episode had already aired the week before, so there's no more episodes. I already watched the finale. I was crushed. It is my favorite show right now and
Landman?
probably of all time. Yes.
I have to watch it.
Oh my god, I didn't know you haven't
I
watched it.
haven't.
When I
I
tell
haven't.
you, there's no better series I don't think that I've ever seen in my life. It's so fucking good, and I'm so sad that it's over right now, like, I wanna cry.
Okay, that feels like a huge rallying cry for me because you know my favorite show of all time just aired, Heated Rivalry,
I
and
know, I know.
and now I feel as though I need to watch
Yes, you
this
have
to
to
be
go watch it.
challenged.
Yeah, you're gonna love it, I know it.
Speaking of Heated Rivalry, my guys, Connor and Hudson are the torchbearers at the Olympics. My girl Danny and I
As
predicted
they
that.
should be.
As they should be, but literally 2 weeks before, let me just put it on the record here, Danny was like, "I'm gonna be over in Milan for work. I think every Olympic story is gonna somehow be tied into Heated Rivalry, somehow." And I go, "I bet you that they will be asked to be torchbearers." And she's
No
like,
way, you called
"100%."
it. You fucking
Freaking
called it,
called it,
that's
girl. And
hilarious.
she sends me video from Milan of them as the torchbearers, and
No! Oh, that's
I'm
amazing.
just like, "You know what? In all the darkness, bring the light. Bring the torches.
Oh my gosh.
Be my
All we need
guys."
is them carrying the torches and we're good.
The only thing I wish is that their shirts were off, but, you know, it was an Olympic torch-bearing
Just go
situation,
watch
so
reruns of the show. You'll be fine.
with the Olympics on the horizon and with kind of the state of America right now, it will be very interesting to see what athletes take a stance
Oh my
in
god. I didn't even think of that. That's gonna be incredible.
I mean, incredible, and I have to shout out Coach Jacki. You know I love Coach Jacki.
Yeah.
If you do not follow Coach Jacki, you should. She is one of the, I think, best voices in women's sports, particularly around, like, activism in women's sports. She's
Yeah.
just so
She's
incredible at
amazing.
storytelling, and she just did a video basically inviting Olympic athletes to, like, this is your moment. You know, you're getting up there and
So
you're
smart.
representing Team USA, America. The world perceives us as basically moving into an autocracy, into, you know, something that's dark and scary, as a world leader. And this is our moment for people to take a real stance and to show the world what America is actually like.
Yeah, that's
Because not all of America is Trump America.
yeah.
And again, we rarely touch on politics on this show, but like I said at the beginning of the episode, this is not political, this is moral at this point.
Mhm.
And so I feel like this Olympics, if you need to be watching not just because of the games, you need to be watching to see how the world responds and how athletes respond and
For
really
sure.
step up and showcase what America is really like.
Yeah, I mean, there's literally no better platform than the Olympics for athletes to really use their platforms and use their voice. It could be so powerful, and yeah, I mean, it's all good stuff. I love that.
And what a crazy turn of events if you think about it. I mean, obviously America has been sliding back for quite some time, but you have heated rivalry, which has this natural connection into the Olympics because of winter sports and ice hockey that like united us, right? As a
Yeah.
nation, as a
Yeah.
world. Like it was one of those pieces of media that brought us together to have a real conversation about such important things. And then you have the unfolding of what's going on with ICE and the murders and all of this horrible stuff that's tearing us apart, right? It's this fascinating juxtaposition. And now we're going into the Olympics where it just the conversations, the narratives, the storytelling honestly, I think it could be one of those Olympics that is more historic than we ever thought as a
Totally.
world.
I think that's
Just because
a really good perspective to have, like, it's like something drastically, like, good happened and something drastically really bad happened, and then now, like, the Olympics is about to happen, and hopefully it just lights everything on fire in the best way.
yeah, and Super Bowl, right? Like, we
Yeah.
I'm gonna shout out the Seahawks because pretty excited that they made us. I know we don't talk men's sports on this podcast, but
Yeah,
as of
we
this
do, we do, we
that's
do. We don't hate
true,
on
we
men's
do.
sports.
We do, but
We just have our dear love for women's sports.
we do, but I think, like, they're our Pacific Northwest NFL team. The NFL is still the anchor sport in America. It has the most mind share around the world, and so from a American sport perspective, so to see our Pacific Northwest be represented in such a major moment is pretty exciting, I have to say.
Okay, well, I was gonna ask who do you have in the Super Bowl, but clearly I got my answer. And if you were to ask me the same question, I would have said I got Bad Bunny because before you saying the Seahawks, I didn't even know who was playing in the Super Bowl. So my money's on Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny is wearing a dress to the Super Bowl. I'm
I don't
literally
he could
so
wear
excited.
anything. He could
No,
wear whatever.
but also think about it, Jack. I would be shocked if he didn't say something at the Super Bowl during his performance, like, or do something that has
Yeah.
some tenor to address what's
It's
happening in
gonna
the
be
world.
so powerful. I'm gonna get chills watching it. Like, my sole goal is to find myself in that arena somehow in that stadium. I don't know what or how or who or when or why. If I have to strip naked and run through the field to get my access into the arena, like, I'm fucking there. I'll do anything.
Everyone's like, "Oh, we wanna see Jackie naked, so how do we get her a ticket?"
That's either gonna draw you in or scare you the fuck away.
Well, I think it'll draw more people in than scare
I
them away.
depends on who you ask.
Just keep posting those fitness workouts and then
Yeah,
you'll get free
I'm
tickets.
trying, I'm trying.
Well, yeah, no, just so many historic moments. But again, remember, people, sports have, and especially right now, stand for something more than sports.
Yeah.
And we are predicting this on the show. We are going to see some historic storytelling and platform moments in the next few weeks.
Speaking of historic moments, can we just quickly touch on Nebraska adding a flag football team? Like, we got to talk about it.
We got to talk about it. Okay, what's your thoughts?
I mean, they're adding a women's flag football team. Like, that is so cool. Like, number one, just absolutely cool. Um, like, my immediate thought when I saw this was, where are they recruiting players to give them scholarships to play women's flag football? Like, what tournaments or leagues are there in high school where like Nebraska's going to be able to recruit players to give them scholarships to play, right? Cuz like I don't really know that, but like it has to be flourishing, like, there has to be something there for them to add a team. I think it's fucking dope as hell. I would absolutely go watch women's Nebraska flag football easily.
100%, and I actually think I know the answer to this.
Oh,
So,
yes, tell me, please.
I think I know the answer to this. Last year, I sat on a girls' high school flag football panel
Mhm.
where I got to learn a lot about what's happening around advocacy for the sport across the US. And to date, it might be closer to 20 now, but I think there's 20 states that now have added women's flag football, both genders,
Mhm.
to the roster for high schools all over the country.
Huge.
So that is definitely gonna be a recruiting pool for future
Huge.
talent. We also know that flag football has grown significantly overseas as well. So you think about opportunities to bring overseas players, young
Love
overseas
that.
players into college here, huge opportunity. In addition to that, the NFL has committed $32 million to fund flag football. It will be the first time that women can play under the NFL brand ever in history.
Yeah, that's
So
huge.
it's huge. And then LA 28, it's going to be a sport, obviously, and everybody's so excited to see what the demand's going to look like. And sport is such a fascinating space to study because a lot of what happens is at the youth level where there's just something happening. There's a trend, there's a bigger sport emerging. I mean, look at volleyball as an example. It's taken way too long for volleyball to become a pro sport, I think. So, super happy to see that evolving. But there has been such a pull in youth sports around this sport, around flag football, that I think is really challenging the pro space to be like, hey, football is a multi-billion-dollar industry in itself.
Right.
How do we diversify it? How do we create more access? And it's already happening at the youth level.
Yeah.
So I am so proud of Nebraska. Like, what a cool commitment to offer that sport. I think you're going to get more girls to the games. I mean, we have tons of women watch football too. We don't want to say they don't, but being able to watch women play too
Mhm.
is going to be
Mhm.
fascinating. So hopefully that might be an answer to your question, but
Yeah, no, I just had an epiphany, and my epiphany is, like, we are in such an amazing time right now. The fact that women's flag football is becoming, like, a real player in sports, and they're adding women's flag football teams to universities, like, this is, like, such a huge transition period for what the sport is going to become in 10 years from now, like, and we're living that. We get to see it all kind of build up to what it's going to be.
well, and it's not just the emerging sports, right? But it's all of the new innovation that's going to surround these emerging sports. I mean,
For
even
sure.
just challenging the status quo on fashion in sports. And as an example, a company called Dead Dirt that does just really cool collabed with the NWSL and made these like unbelievable, very gender neutral knits. And it's the first time in a long time, Jack, where I said to myself, I need this merch. Need.
You
So
sent me the link ASAP, and it
I
was
did.
hella fire. They just
I
had
did.
sold out of the Bay FC, so I was like, "Damn, I can't get any because that's my
Well,
team."
I bought the thorns and I was very excited about it. And just, I think we're going to see so much emerging fashion, beauty, just new ways to think about how you show up at the game, but also how you represent fandom outside of the game. That's going to become a deeper part of our identities as sports grows.
Can we shift gears really quick and just talk about the news about the transfer portal window being changed? Because I think that was such a big deal last year. And now that they changed the date, I think that's gonna be better for so many different people. So for those of you that don't know, last year the transfer portal window could start during March Madness. Like after the first or second round, the transfer portal window opened, so players that were currently playing, were entering the portal. So, like, their current team could see that that player was not going to come back next year, and it just caused so much drama and so much tension and weirdness. And also, like, not only did coaches have to worry about who's entering the transfer portal, they have to recruit the players in the transfer portal while they're trying to win a championship, while they're in the midst of March Madness, which is the most important time of the year. So the transfer portal window was just such chaos, and just like everyone was complaining about it. So now the transfer portal will open the day after the championship game. So the day after the NCAA championship game, which is going to be so much better for everyone. And also, the transfer portal will open if a head coach gets fired or leaves that team. When they hire a new coach, after 5 days of hiring that new coach, the portal will open up for the team to decide if they want to stay because they had a coaching change or if they want to go somewhere else.
I'm gonna be honest, going to this topic, I was like, what is this about? And you just helped me truly understand it better. And I always laugh because I feel like when it comes to especially college or kind of institutions, there's always kind of a way of doing something.
Hmm.
And sometimes that way makes no sense. But it's just
Right.
that's the way we've always done
Right.
it. And
Yeah.
now that you're explaining this to me, I'm like, yeah, duh. That makes so much sense.
1000%.
Because then you're creating less drama around these teams and a focus on getting those teams through March Madness to the
Yeah.
champs,
It
to the
was just
W.
ridiculous. Like, the
It's like
transfer portal window last year was just it was a mess, you know? So, but it's definitely
such a
a
mess.
win for these college teams.
For
We can
sure.
just end
And
with that.
just to clarify, Jack, is the transfer portal the same for men's and women's sports?
Yes.
Okay, good. Well, we got some parity somewhere, so yay for us.
Love that.
But no, that's a really good reminder because, again, we've talked about the Olympics, we've talked about the Super Bowl, we've talked about all of these emerging sports, and also March Madness is right around the corner. So I have to ask you, Jack, because I think this is going to be such a hot topic. Do you have any early predictions for teams that we're going to see in, like, let's say, Final Four or even the championship? Is it too early to predict?
No, I mean, it's not too early to predict. I think you're gonna see, like, I don't think my answers will be any different than a lot of people. I think you'll see UConn in the Final Four. I think you'll see Texas in the Final Four. I think you'll see South Carolina in the Final Four. Um, and then I think you'll see UCLA in the Final Four.
Ooh.
But then again, that all depends on who's being matched up where, right? So maybe these two of the teams that I just mentioned are going to be playing each other in the Elite Eight. So then, all four of them wouldn't be able to go in there. But like, I think those will be the number one seeds.
I love that. I mean, UConn, they're still undefeated this season, right?
Honestly, I'm not sure if they're undefeated. They're just so solid. They're so good. South Carolina handed Vanderbilt their first loss of the season.
That
So
was
that
big
was a
time.
yeah, that was a big win for them. I mean, the SEC is just so freaking good. That is the best league in terms of women's basketball competition. Like, every team is good. And then there's team Vanderbilt's hella good. You got Iowa State that's good. You got Iowa that's good. You got Ole Miss that is good. And obviously I'm speaking, about teams from different
Mhm.
conferences and whatnot. USC is good. Kentucky is good. Like, there's just a lot of great teams. There's a lot more parity around competition and stuff.
Love that.
Um, so which is amazing. But I mean, the SEC conference is just elite.
I love it. Well, this is gonna be my first year really in March Madness, like,
We
really in it.
we
Like,
need
where I
to
feel like I could watch the games and kinda understand what's going on.
Well, we need to definitely, like, for a weekend situation, we need to get together and watch games. Like, it'll be so
Mhm.
much fun.
I think we should do an episode where we just live commentate a game.
Yeah, let's do it. I
Let's
would love that.
do
We're
it.
doing it.
Clackers, let us know if you'd like that. It's pretty much gonna be
Clack
spelled out
Pack,
as
let us know what's
clack.
good.
Let us know. It's pretty much to give you a preview, Jackie knows all the facts and Lauren is just asking her questions.
That's fine, that's fine. Like, I think people would be entertained by that.
Let's move into our honestly, our favorite section, Coach's Corner.
I
Can
have a
I?
good one for this.
Oh, you do? Okay, because I have one too, but you go.
Oh, okay, okay. I'll make mine quick. Mine's very short and sweet. I recently just started my fitness page on Instagram, Jackie_fitness junkie with an I, just like my name, Jackie with an I, thanks to my amazingly friend that knows branding and marketing and social media like the back of her hand, Lauren Duletsky. Thank you very much, boo. Um, and all I wanted to say on this coach's corner is do whatever you feel like you want to do. If there's something that's telling you or pulling you in a direction, just go for it and do it and try it because there's no harm in trying. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to have all the answers at first, but if it makes you happy and you just want to do it, I'm here to tell you, just go for it.
I love that. And I love that you just jump in and take risks. I was watching the new episode of Queer Eye. Queer Eye is
I know
one of
you
my
love
favorite,
that show.
freaking obsessed. And one of the episodes was very much around like the theme was you have to get going. If you never start, you'll never know where you can go.
Yeah,
So it just really inspired me because I feel like my guys, my queer guys, my queer eyes guys are just always really encouraging people to get started.
that's
And
beautiful. I
that's
love that.
even just with this podcast. It was like we had this idea and we're like,
It's the
let's
same
just
thing.
try it. We don't know how to be podcasters.
No.
Like, let's just jump in and
I
here we
mean, it
are.
might still be questionable, but here we are.
I think we've made some progress.
I'm
I'm
kidding.
hopeful.
We have made
But
so much progress.
so I love that coach's corner and I want to add something this week because I think for me we talk a lot about, we can talk all day on a podcast, we can post things online, but when it comes to investing in your community and having real one-to-one experiences, that is what life is. That is what it's about, human connection. And I had the incredible opportunity to meet a young girl named Molly Fanning, who is part of a wheelchair basketball group here in Portland, Oregon, Bridge City Inclusive, incredible foundation here that gives access for people in wheelchairs, people with different disabilities to play sports. So important because everyone should play sports.
Mhm.
And these people who play wheelchair basketball are absolute incredible athletes. And Molly is a young 7-year-old, just a little bit older than my daughter. And she got up in front of her entire elementary school alongside myself and two other incredible athletes, a Paralympian and a former WNBA player. And we talked about wheelchair basketball and we talked about ability sports and we talked about disabilities you can see and you can't see. And to see the engagement from these elementary school kids and how excited they were to talk about it, it just made me feel on top of the world. And so my coach's corner is it feels so hard right now to find anything to believe in. Like
Yeah.
honestly,
Yeah.
go find something in your community that can bring you a spark of joy, where you can give back, where you can use your skills for good because there's so many ways to do good.
Mhm.
And we all have that. I genuinely believe everybody is good. Like that's my optimism. And people just do really bad things.
Mhm.
And so I would love to see stories of more people just do the local thing in your community.
I
Bring some light
Yeah.
into your life. It lifted me the entire weekend when I was feeling so sad. So
That's
that's my
so
coach's
beautiful.
corner.
That was so good. You killed that, and I think, like, that reminds me of our Hooper camps that we do for the community, and we do it for nothing. We just do it for the pure love and joy and wanting to give back to the community. But I love that. I think that's amazing. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah, and I should say that you guys, Jacki is the first one to say that joy in sports is the one thing we can't lose. She just did an amazing video about it on our social. Parents that want their kids to compete, be in sports, stay in sports. Yes, there's all those things, but if you lose the joy, you're not going to play. You're just
That
not. You're not going to play forever. And so I just always remember that because I thought that was such a beautiful,
Thank you. It's
beautiful
so true.
statement. It
Yeah.
is so true. Well, what an episode with so many feelings today.
Yeah, we touched on a lot today. Today was great. I loved your perspective on everything, particularly your coach's corner. That was beautiful. Yeah, good job, boo.
I love you. Well, today is also a no school day for Portland Public Schools. So my daughter is currently watching Zombies 3 in the other room.
My god, I would have never known. She didn't interrupt once.
I'm really proud of her.
Let's go, Haley.
She gets locked into zombies. If you are a parent of a elementary school kid right now, you know what the movie Zombies is. It's basically High School Musical, but with like monsters. It's
Oh my
amazing.
god. I can't wait.
So you will watch it in the future. I
I'm
trust
sure.
you will.
I'm sure.
But I know. But you know what? I'm gonna go get her outside. I'm inspired. I want to get her
It's so
outside.
nice.
I want to move our bodies. So we're gonna go do that.
I love that. Well, you guys have the best day, and we will see our Clack Pack next week. We appreciate you all for listening. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe in all of our channels, which include TikTok, Instagram, and most importantly, YouTube. I think we're up to 9 subscribers now on our new YouTube
12.
channel. 12,
12.
sorry. So let's go. Spread the word, please.
We love you all. Stay positive as you can, and I truly believe there's light coming.
I do too.
Okay, we love you all.
Love you all. Bye.
Bye.